continue our committee of the whole for the proposed FY 2026 budget. Going to ask Ms. Katie Perez to please come on up.
Kate Perez, and I'll never forget Parker's budget meeting when she said she knows that the clean needle exchange saves lives. She's not arguing with science, but she doesn't want to pay for it anymore. Philly is constantly pushing responsibilities onto nonprofits and then defunding and criminalizing care until the only option left is forced treatment or jail. Jails that already have lawsuits for not being up to standard and facilities that are not equipped to handle influx of patients going through withdrawals. We saw Amanda Cahill suffer through a painful, preventable death with inmates screaming for medical attention for more than 7 hours straight with no answer. Building a specialized treatment jail is not the answer. The Police Review Board doesn't have enough funding to conduct their own investigations. And if a cop kills an unarmed civilian while off duty, the department will put Officer Sweeney on administrative leave instead of immediately arresting him, sending the message that if you kill someone, we'll protect you. Settlements won't come out of your paycheck, and the city will still give us millions more to buy drones. The council voted to look into investments in El Salvador as we fear they no longer respect the law. Let's also make sure none of our money is involved with the illegal occupation of Palestine. Today marks day 72 of Israel's complete blockade of all humanitarian aid. While blocking all food and medicine, they shot 6 missiles at the European hospital in Khan Yunis, making it the second hospital they bombed in 24 hours. We can't increase the police budget even by $1 until they agree to stop cross-training with the IOF. A PPD officer walked a man with no charges out of court and straight into ICE custody, possibly assisting with another person being deported to El Salvador without trial. We should investigate and denounce this act, as we must stay a sanctuary city. Our high schoolers don't have after-school programs. SEPTA is cutting even more roots. Our libraries have mold. North Philly needs more trees. And Phil Abundance is on the edge of bankruptcy as our federal government continues to defund the USDA. The city budget is going to have to find ways to feed its citizens, and it should come out of our overinflated police budget. If we want to stop crime, we should take preventative measures instead of writing cops blank checks and stop letting them partner with armies that uphold apartheid. Free Palestine.
Next, we have Brian Ogleby, Edith, I can't read the last name, Janet Dennis, Symbol Lai, and Marina Edens.
It's Oglesby, but close enough. It's quiz on Tuesday.
Apologies.
I'd like to speak today on behalf of the businesses that I represent in Philadelphia and businesses that do business in the surrounding areas. In reference to the business income and receipts tax proposed reduction and the reduction in wage tax. There are 5 advantages that I'd like to go over briefly. One, it gives an opportunity for our businesses, particularly our smaller businesses, to level the playing field with our suburban counterparts. And it makes it, because the current taxes as they are make it more expensive to operate businesses within city limits compared to the suburbs like King of Prussia, Conshohocken, or Cherry Hill, where some of those taxes may not be existent. The reduction in the tax gap between the city and surrounding counties makes it more attractive to stay in Philadelphia or move to Philadelphia and attract strong workforce and more innovative people, again, particularly with smaller businesses. It lowers operating costs. It allows to pay less for your gross receipts and net income, and that's a direct savings that can be reinvested in workforce and economic development locally. The wage tax reduction would also reduce the cost of employing people, especially if your employees live in Philadelphia, and it makes hiring and retaining talent, local talent, more affordable and gives the opportunity for business to expand, creating more business receipts in the long run. It attracts and retains talent. We've long worked hard to maintain our talent that we develop in the city through our institutions and our system of education. And the Philadelphia's wage tax is comparatively one of the largest in the country, and reducing it allows employees to take home more of their pay, which is a big selling point for job seekers, both here in the city and people who may be attracted to coming to the city. Competitive take-home pay helps small businesses compete with larger firms and for suburban employees who are subject to the same taxes. We boost business growth and resilience. A lesser tax burden means more cash on hand for expanding operations, hiring more staff, build reserves for slow periods. And small businesses often operate on thin margins. Tax relief can help those difference between surviving and thriving. We encourage, and it also finally encourages economic development. Reducing the city-specific taxes like burden and wage tax makes Philadelphia more attractive for entrepreneurs, startups, and small business expansion stakeholders that we spend a lot of time working with and trying to develop. This contributes to job creation and revitalization in city neighborhoods that need economic development and development the most. This type of tax reduction helps our inner city businesses grow at a more rapid rate than they currently are and creates opportunities in a time where the marketplace is shrunken in terms of external opportunities. In short, small business owners would benefit from these tax reductions, and they cut costs, improve competitiveness, and increase flexibility, especially when compared to lower tax environments in the surrounding suburbs. For Philadelphia to retain and grow its small business base and its place as the economic engine for this entire region, aligning its tax policies more closely with the metro area is key. Thank you.
Thank you. Symbol, how you doing?
Hello.
How's Miss Cooper?
She's not here today. You have me.
Good.
My name is Simbolai. I'm with Children First. First of all, I want to thank all the council members who asked for a 1% increase in the millage transfer to the School District of Philadelphia in this year's budget. This bump generates $25 million in new recurring funds to Philly schools. So last week during the district's budget hearing, I heard many of you ask about the lack of anti-bullying programs, counselors, and SETI teachers. It's clear that everyone here cares deeply about education, and I want to encourage council members to think about underfunding as a root cause to the instability you'd like to fix. The school district is $1.2 billion underfunded. People are fighting to fix this at the state, but the state isn't the only player. As you know, the city funds comprise 44% of the district's budget as well, which means you, council members, have a hand in getting our schools to equity faster. I also want to point out that asking the district to dip into its fund balance is not a sound plan. Children First testified to this last week, but it's worth repeating. The district's fund balance is there for emergencies, not regular operations. As it stands, the fund balance is enough to get the district through 4.5 weeks of operations. A year is 52 weeks. Last, I want to share the stories of parents who can't come to City Hall with me today. Last night when I was preparing for this, I sent out an urgent call asking for their stories to help me testify, and I want to tell you a little bit about what I heard back. So first we have Melissa Rothermall, who has 3 kids in the Northeast with special needs. She knows that more funding means a better chance her kids will get better services. Imani Badi, she cares deeply about literacy. She knows that kids are more likely to end up in prison if they don't know how to read, so more funding prevents this. Donna Fields testified last week, but she's not done. She wants you to know about the fights, the lockdowns, and even the suicide rates that she's seen in her schools. She's emphatic that schools need more money to do more. Jasmine Banks says that if we want to dismantle the school and foster care to prison pipeline, we need to invest in schools. She quotes Frederick Douglass, who said, it's easier to build strong children than to repair broken men. Rhonda Montgomery says that she shouldn't have to dip into her rent money to buy cleaning supplies so her kids don't get sick. And Samia Evans Bowling wants to remind you that if we invest in our children, we invest in ourselves and our communities and our city. City Council, we want $25 million in local funding for our schools. Increase the millage rate transfer by 1%. Thank you.
Thank you.
We have Edith, last name starts with a Z. Janet Dennis, Marina Edens, followed by Joshua Atlas, Elena Darcy, Corey Reedy, Nicholas Monta, Lena Hernandez,
Hello, City Council President and City Council members. My name is Corey Reedy. I live in the 3rd District, and I'm here today on behalf of Philadelphia Area Cooperative Alliance, aka PACA, where I have the immense privilege to work every single day with Philly co-ops. Cooperatives are businesses owned either by their workers and or by the community who utilizes them. I personally became involved with co-ops over 17 years ago when I became a worker owner of one. I've been hooked ever since, with good reason. We see it in the data. Co-ops build happier, more sustainable, more creative, and more resilient workplaces, which in turn builds stronger, more equitable communities and cities. In the FY26 budget, we are asking City Council to include a $1.3 million grant fund to stimulate the Philadelphia cooperative economy, with a spend down over the course of the next 2 to 3 years. $1 million will be to fund co-ops' direct needs, $300K will to provide pro bono technical assistance. It is modeled after multiple other cities' co-op grant funds. In Madison, they invested $1.5 million over 5 years, and they doubled their amount of co-ops. To be candid, losing the BERT tax exemption is going to hurt our co-ops, particularly in the startup years when every dollar matters, making this grant fund ask even more imperative to ensure their success. I will end this with, I get the privilege to support co-ops on figuring out their business plans, their budgets, their legal documents, their governance structures, et cetera. But in the midst of all that, we talk about why they want to do this, why they are doing this. Many of our co-ops come from highly exploited industries, service work like restaurants and retail, domestic work like childcare, home care, and professional cleaners. The first landscaping co-op in Philly just launched. And these co-ops tell me time and time again that while they were working these very exploited jobs, they would talk with each other about how they knew it didn't have to be this way. And it doesn't, they are proving it. Together they are building that better way. But in order to really expand and stabilize this better way, this cooperative way, we need city investment. And it is the year of the cooperative. Thank you, City Council, for declaring it so. Philly was the first city to back the UN's resolution, and others have now followed. The resolution says the city of Philadelphia will do everything it can to grow the cooperative economy. We look forward to this being true. Thank you.
Thank you.
Good afternoon. Susan? Yeah. Good
Yeah, please
afternoon.
begin.
Thank you, City Council, for hearing us today. My name is Lina Martinez, and I am here on behalf of COMPA Philly Language Justice Co-op. We are a cooperative of interpreters and translators that work with community groups across the city to facilitate communication, collaboration, and understanding between speakers of different languages. Our work raises the often unheard voices of immigrant communities and connects monolingual English speakers to the wealth of knowledge and experience of their neighbors, with whom they might otherwise not be able to communicate. For a city as diverse and multicultural as Philadelphia, quality, community-focused language services are essential to ensure the meaningful participation of all residents in culture, politics, and the economy. Working as a cooperative, where the interpreters and translators are also the owners and decision makers of the business, helps keep COMPA integrated in the communities that we serve. It allows us to grow and develop alongside the language needs of the city. Having the opportunity to receive training, grants, and pro bono TA sessions through the Philadelphia Area Cooperative Alliance, or PACA, has allowed us to build the foundations of our co-op. But being a small business that works directly with marginalized communities means that we operate with little overhead, and changes in our financial landscape can have huge consequences for a co-op like COMPA. By funding co-ops with a $1.3 million grant and pro bono technical assistance fund for Philadelphia cooperatives, and by maintaining the BERT tax exemption, City Council can help ensure that small businesses like COMPA are able to continue our work serving the linguistically diverse but deeply integral communities that make up the city of Philadelphia. Thank you.
Nicholas Monta, Erin Young, Katie Seidel, Christina Gosnell,
Hi, my name is Katie, and I am a student of Community College of Philadelphia and commute from outside of the city from Abington. I rely heavily on the regional rail to get to and from school every day. I am also an activist with Fridays for Future and Sunrise Movement here in Philadelphia and rely on SEPTA to get me to events and meetings. With these cuts, it will make getting to school impossible. As my dad works, my mom is disabled, and I cannot drive, and I am chronically ill. And I am also working class and cannot afford fare increases. Many people may be in situations like mine. Students all over the city and outside the city rely on SEPTA to get to school, whether it be elementary school, middle school, high school, or college. The city needs to step up funding for SEPTA and not rely just on federal funding. These cuts and fare increases will detrimentally impact the working class, such as myself. SEPTA is what makes getting around the city possible. This is why we need each and every line and bus route to remain open to its fullest and affordable fare prices. Thank you.
Hi, I'm Erin Young. I'm a climate activist with Fridays for Future and Sunrise Movement. I'm also an essential worker assisting an elderly person with stage 4 cancer at his home. I'm disabled myself and can only work part-time, so I'm low income. I can't afford a car or rideshare and depend on SEPTA to carry out the functions of my job. Many of us in care work depend on public transit. Those who work swing shifts or overnights will not be able to work if funding cuts result in transit stopping at 9 p.m. Many other sectors will be adversely affected. This threatens our region's entire economy. While we fight for state funding, we have to realize that the city could fund more. Compared to similar cities, Philadelphia underspends on public transit. With funding cuts on the federal level, it's critical that we step up to fill the gap for essential public services. Councilmember O'Rourke introduced new legislation to expand the Zero Fare pilot program, which would be life-changing for 20% of Philadelphians living under the poverty line. I ask you to vote yes on the Philadelphia Transit Access Fund when it comes up for a vote, but before that, I urge you to dedicate more funding from the city budget to SEPTA to ensure that transit services don't get cut and costs don't go up for riders. Continuing the conversation of public services funding, myself and other Philadelphians benefit from events, services, and resources that the free library offers. Libraries are highly utilized as cooling centers in times of dangerous heat, times which are becoming more frequent because of the climate crisis. Libraries are also an educational resource that we need even more now because of the Trump administration attacks on education. I urge you to increase funding for the free library by at least $30 million this budget cycle and account for unspent funds in the last budget cycle. Thank you.
Janet Dennis, Christina Gosnell, you can state your name for the record and proceed.
Good afternoon, City Council. My name is Janet Dennis, and I'm a retired social worker and a U.S. and international athlete. I'm here today representing Philly Aquatics and their quest to reopen the Pickett Pool and to rebuild the Master Foster Pool. I live in District 8. I learned to swim 50 years ago while an undergraduate student at Temple University. I'm a backstroker. Who knew that at 50 I would become a competitor swimmer? Who knew at 70 I would still be swimming? 19 years ago, I received a life-saving transplant, heart transplant. After completing cardiac rehab, I was told that the heart is a muscle and I would have to join the gym. I joined LA Fitness, but I am a pool-only member. Swimming is a sport that can clearly take you into your senior years. I represent Team Philadelphia in competitions in the United States. I represent Team USA in competitions all over the world. I noticed right away that I am the only African-American swimmer at all these competitions. This August, at the age of 70, I'll be representing Team USA in Dresden, Germany. In addition to swimming, I do shot put, discus, javelin, and a long jump, okay? July the 25th is World Drowning Prevention Day. It's a global event that serves as an opportunity to highlight the tragic and profound impact of drowning on families and communities. An estimated 236,000 people drown every single year. November the 3rd, 1966, there was a program that's still active today, which is called RIF, R-I-F, Reading is Fundamental. It provides books for children in underserved communities. I'm just saying, let's update the Philadelphia curriculums and support swimming is fundamental.
Good afternoon. My name is Eleanor Womack. I live in Nicetown for over 60 years. So Marcus Foster is very important to me. I'm with the Philly Aquatics and also the Stanton Park Advisory Board. I would like attention to be paid to Nicetown in reference to Marcus Foster and the pool. I've taken and raised most children, most boys, and they became lifeguards, learning life-saving skills that they could pass on to their families. I couldn't bring them today. They're all grown and living in other cities. But if you could please pay attention as well to Stanton Park. We have no Wi-Fi. We have no facilities for children. We need attention. I've gone to our representatives and made appointments, and the appointments, they did not show. So I just need someone to address the issue and see what's happening and get back to us right away. Thank you.
Good afternoon. My name is Sterling Scott. I'm a member of the Citizen Congress of Nicetown, also Vice President of our own RCO, CC Nicetown RCO. The Marcus Foster Pool is a lifeline for the Nicetown residents. Philly Aquatic is vital for our community. There are many benefits in our pools, for pools in our neighborhood. One, it pulls community together. Parents will want their children to learn how to swim, and they will assist in the curriculum. Also, the guidance that comes from the instructors will be a lifelong benefit, and they add structure to the child's development in our community. Marcus Foster Pool we have been asked many times, why has Marcus Foster Pool not been rebuilt? These are young and old adults. The older seniors, they need this for their treatments, and the pools can eliminate a lot of weight or stress on their bodies where they cannot do regular exercise, okay? Our neighbors don't want to be an afterthought or neglected. Thank you. One other thing, the pools are Marcus Foster Pools in the historic area.
Thank you.
And that's the feather in the cap of Philadelphia.
We need you to, if you're speaking, to speak into the mic so we can get it on the transcript. But thank you very, very much. The clerk will please call the next set of witnesses.
Christina Gosnell, Si-Hung Lin, Ivon Lung, Vivian Chang, and Alex Wiles.
So hello, thank you for this opportunity for me to be here to speak. So hello, my name is Si-Hung Lin. So I work in Asian American United. So we are a community-based organization that raising youth and family for success. So personally, I came to America when I was 12 years old. My family chose Philadelphia because it was a war-gone immigrant city like us. I'm a proud graduate from Michael Elementary School and Finesse High School from our public school from Philadelphia. So I was able to attend and graduate from Temple Universities because of support I received in the public system. So so personally, as an immigrant student who used to graduate from Philadelphia, I really hope there will be more resources going to our public education system to support all the students to have better learning environment and a safety school. But like those support are under attack right now. The newcomer program to help children learning English and be protected at school are almost gone. Even though students are getting left behind every day, our city is not doing enough to help them. Many students come to Philly because they are escaping from the war, violence, and traumas. So city council should provide $2 million for newcomer programs so there was no children are left behind in our public school. City council should provide $1.8 million for the Philadelphia Immigrants Family Units project. If the city abandons its responsibilities, then more of our children will be more suffering in our public Philadelphia high school. So that's not what we want to see in our city. So we're all here to looking forward to a better future of our public assistance, better budget, and better future of our Philadelphia on next years. And also, of course, include another champions win for our Super Bowls. So yeah, go Eagles, go Philadelphia. Thank you.
City Council members, thank you for this opportunity to testify. My name is Ivon Lung. I am an artist who has called Philadelphia home since 2007, and I have been active in the art and cultural community for just as long. I'm also a second-generation immigrant with close ties to my API community. So I'm here today to oppose bill number 250199. I want to talk about how getting rid of BERT would affect small business owners, which includes artists. As an artist, I'm a small business. Artists, musicians, dancers, writers, and actors are all small business owners in this city. While Philly has a very, very vibrant arts and culture community, as makers, as contractors, entrepreneurs, our income fluctuates and every penny we earn counts. Since the conception of the BERT exemption in 2014, small businesses like me have experienced its benefits. It is because of the exemption that my partner and I, who he is also an artist, were able to save up for a down payment to buy a house. That is not only our home, but also we have our artist studio in there as well, instead of renting a studio from a slum landlord. Just recently, the arts and cultural organizations in the Philadelphia region have received notification from the National Endowment of the Arts rescinding grants left and right that have been promised to them, wreaking havoc in our community, which also means this is going to be less money that will trickle down to individual artists, musicians, dancers, writers, and performers, people like me. Should the BERT exemption be cut or canceled, this will add another financial burden to people like me, which will cause talent to leave Philadelphia and search for a city that supports makers and creatives. I asked the city not to remove the BERT exemption. Why are we providing tax cuts to those that don't need it? The big corporations, the multimillionaires, the billionaires. In order to create a city that is livable, diverse, and beautiful, the city needs to support the local and small businesses. Imagine the mural arts program not having any artists to be able to create the beautiful murals that you see around the city. Imagine FDR Park not holding the Southeast Asian market. And I want to say, yes, those aunties and uncles that are cooking there are artists as well. Imagine the Bach building empty with no artist studios and there are no art communities. I sincerely ask the City Council to support the continuation of the BERT exemption. Thank you.
Yes, that's right. Should I go? My name is Vivian Chang. I am a member of the Alliance for Just Philadelphia, also working, yes. We're a coalition of so many organizations, so many people in this room And sadly, so many council members not listening to us. Just want to name that. I think there's so many people who took time out of their day, and look, I'm looking at all these empty seats. So I hope that, like, you know, even if folks aren't able to hear us live, maybe they can come back and listen to us here. But, you know, in short, everything we've testified today relies on city services. It relies on funding for our city government, right? Where there's no way we're gonna have safe, healthy homes for all if we cut taxes on big corporations. There's no way that this city can really live up to its promise to protect all people, including our immigrants, if we cut those taxes on big corporations. And the BIRT tax is part of that, right? There is a plan right now that the mayor has put forth to tax 80,000 small businesses, 2/3 of all businesses in Philly, so squeezing blood from those little stones, so that there can be cuts made on the biggest corporations, on union busters like Aramark. Is that fair? Does that make sense? No. Yeah. So the city right now, this proposal before us is choosing to steal from the poor to give to the rich. Take food from the mouths of babes so that billionaires like David Edelman can destroy more neighborhoods and buy more cyber trucks. And that doesn't make sense. So 80,000 businesses, just want to repeat that number. These are the smallest businesses in Philadelphia, and these are sole proprietors, family businesses, longtime shops, many of whom were redlined out of federal loans and grants, and they're only surviving today by the skin of their teeth. These are businesses that are gonna be forced to suddenly pay, you know, upwards of $1,000 in taxes, even more. And the proposal is a $30 million fund for transition. Well, if we do the math, 80,000 businesses, $30 million. That's not even enough money for the first year of this new tax. So, you know, these small businesses, they're not looking for a handout, but they don't want a high five when they're drowning. How many small businesses will we allow to be destroyed? How many services are we gonna be allowed to cut because of this? I urge City Council, do not remove the BIRT exemption, fund our people's budget. Thank you.
Good afternoon, everyone. I'm Alex Wiles from Bonfire Media Collective. We are a media co-op that is actually a very short walk away from here. I'm here also in support of the Philadelphia Area Cooperative Alliance and the Alliance for Just Philadelphia. If you recognize our business name as a member of local government, it may be because we are the ones who ran the campaign, the media campaign, for Kendra Brooks, who I'm very happy was able to win her run and still occupies office in this building, and was able to do lots of amazing things as a member of local government. Years ago, I also worked alongside Helen Gim and Media Mobilizing Project on the Cap Comcast campaign to help ensure through our ongoing franchise agreement with this company that they will pay their fair share in this country. This also led to lots of other cities across the country stopping their franchise agreements with their large corporations to get some of the more equitable things that Philadelphia was able to accomplish. This is the exact kind of leadership that we need right now. We were able to help lead our country by example as a city, and we can continue doing so. This is the kind of leadership and advocacy we need, especially now, as our country and communities are threatened with so much violence, injustice, and inequity. As a member of a cooperative, I have seen the work that can be accomplished in a worker-owned company. We need city funding for co-ops, and we cannot lose our BIRT tax exemption. Co-ops are run democratically, where all workers have a voice, in a time when so many companies take advantage of their workers. We need more co-ops, and we need them to flourish, not just survive. We need leaders to help restore the rapidly fading trust that voters have in our government. I'm asking for a $1.3 million investment in our Philly co-ops, which embody democracy and community. We are exhausted as a city and as voters with just the survive mindset. Support us with vital funding so that we can thrive, not just survive. Thank you.
Next we have Terrell Cannon, Jacob Russell, Lana Bond, Marissa Johnson-Vale, Paul Hanix, and Nicole Bnee.
start now?
Hold on one second.
Oh, sorry.
Good. Okay.
Okay, hello. I know a number of you. My name is Marissa Johnson Valenzuela. I am a union leader and I think 13 years full-time faculty member at Community College of Philadelphia. And maybe it's 14, maybe it's 12, I don't know. It's somewhere long time. I'm also a former CCP student. And I am here because I love Philadelphia deeply. That's why I teach at Community College of Philadelphia. I'm also really proud that our union is part of a coalition of more than 40 organizations with these t-shirts here calling for increased investment in our communities. My joke here is that I am an English professor, but the math is not mathing. Our city needs more investment in our people, and as part of that, I am here today to advocate for increased investment in Community College of Philadelphia, 15 million more in general operating funds, and 2 million more for SEPTA passes for students, which we were able to win an agreement on, but yet the funding is still in question, as you heard from Harold Epps when he was here testifying to you. But I do also want to take a moment to thank folks in this room for their support, for the faculty and staff and students at Community College of Philadelphia. I was there all night long to reach the deal that our members overwhelmingly agreed to and that 97% were willing to strike for, right? And I know you got a late night phone call yourself to try to make that happen. But after so the city's headed in the right direction, but after 4 decades of defunding at the city and state level, after 4 decades of breaking the promise that CCP and all community colleges across the state were founded with, the city still needs to do more to do right by its college. Again, 15 million increase in general funding, 2 million for SEPTA passes. I trust that everyone in this room is aware of the cuts coming from the federal government and is upset by them. And this is a real opportunity to push back against them and to make sure that CCP is okay, because those cuts will gut us. Right? The financial aid cuts that the Republicans are pushing will have a devastating effect, and now is not the time to go cheap on the community, on our college. Thank you.
Hi, my name is Lana Bond. I am a resident of the 5th District and the Director of Education for Physicians for Social Responsibility, Pennsylvania. Based on what they treat in clinic and the latest research, the medical professionals I work with are advocating for investments in public health with serious concerns about climate change, air quality, and environmental pollutants. We support the Safe and Healthy Homes Initiative, including PEA's $10 million ask for the Built to Last program and administrative costs that enable coordination and communication with residents who receive assistance. Speaking as a renter myself, who lives next to a home that had multiple gas leaks and where the landlord had an illegal furnace and renters found mold and 2 years of respiratory issues ended when they moved out, I personally want to underscore the need for inspections with funding for L&I. Both inspections and repair funding help prevent long-term health harm. Physicians again and again also impress on me the need for investment in green and public spaces that improve air quality and for the public transit that many residents depend on and that reduces pollution from car congestion. Again, speaking for myself as an educator who has worked in many Philadelphia public schools and currently as a reading coach for a brilliant but distractible kindergartner at Alexander McClure, an excellent elementary school in Councilmember Lozada's district, I urge council to prioritize school funding. Perhaps it was a failing of my own education, but I have trouble with the math of how we can fund our priorities if we cut taxes for the wealthiest people and corporations who can most afford to pay for them. Thank you.
Hello, City Council. My name is Jacob Russell. I live on Spruce Street between 5th and 6th. And I want to share today my support for the $10 million investment in Vision Zero and concrete protection on the Spruce and Pine bike lanes. I'm far from the only resident of my street looking forward to these improvements. Nearly 400 Philadelphians attended the open house on the protection plan, 80% of which expressed support for concrete protection on the exit survey. Those 400 residents included 150 residents of Spruce and Pine, and among those 150, 62% raised voiced support for the plan. Protected bike lanes are not a niche issue for a small vocal minority. They're a broadly popular policy that will save lives throughout the city. I know some of my neighbors have complained about the cost of the bike lanes. I'd like to remind them that $5 million is 0.07% of the city budget. If the city was a person making the Philadelphia average of $60,000 a year, the bike lane would cost $42. Protecting thousands of lives for the relative cost of a restaurant dinner is quite a bargain. A $5 million investment in safety also pales in comparison to the massive parking subsidy Center City residents receive each year from the city. A market rate parking spot in Center City is about $3,000 per year, yet the city charges a measly $75 for the privilege of parking their private vehicle on public streets. Each parking permit constitutes a subsidy of thousands of dollars to the city's richest residents. If my neighbors are so concerned about the cost of safety improvements, I hope they can get behind drastic increases in the parking permit costs to pay for these improvements. While the bike lanes are in Philadelphia's richest neighborhood, they do serve residents from every part of the city. They are an essential, affordable connection to the jobs and services in Center City. 7,000 Philadelphians joined our petition demanding concrete protection on Spruce and Pine, 1,000 living in Center City, and 6,000 from other districts. Philadelphians in every district want these improvements. I do agree with my neighbors that the challenge the city faces in traffic violence go far beyond Spruce and Pine Street. The DVRCP estimates that Philly needs an investment of $2 billion to actually achieve Vision Zero. While the proposed $10 million is a welcome step in the right direction, it falls well short of the investment needed to really keep Philadelphians safe on their streets. If we were serious about protecting people from traffic deaths, we should be investing hundreds of millions, not tens of millions. I hope this council and the mayor can build upon these huge investments to finally actually work to eliminate traffic deaths in our community. Thank you.
Hello, my name is Nicole Bnee. Thank you so much, Council. I'm the Policy Director for the Bicycle Coalition of Greater Philadelphia, and I'm here testifying in support of the proposed Vision Zero budget found in Mayor Parker's proposed FY26 capital budget. The mayor's proposed budget is one way to show the city's commitment to Vision Zero and reaching zero traffic fatalities. The main budget line for Vision Zero was increased from $1 million last year to 3.5, and an additional 1.5 for Vision Zero shows up in another set of budget lines. This Vision Zero budget line also includes $5 million from another source of funding to pay for concrete protected bike lanes on Spruce and Pine Streets. So this issue is really important to me. Philadelphia is a beautiful historic city, and parts of the city have maintained dense neighborhoods with small roads and short blocks. This design is perfect for safe streets for people walking, biking, taking transit, and even driving by encouraging lower speeds. However, over the past half-century, city planners have built highways through majority-minority neighborhoods, causing the most diverse neighborhoods of Philadelphia to have some of the most dangerous roads. There's a discrepancy between the safety of state roads versus city-owned roads. The state roads are typically wider, cross-cut through full neighborhoods, and require state and federal funding to improve. With the uncertainty of federal infrastructure funding, having stable city funding to improve locally owned roads and work with state partners is critical to improving the safety of underserved communities. I applaud the Parker administration for increasing the city's contribution to Vision Zero and listening to community members who feel the largest impacts of traffic violence. Now it's up to all of you to approve a budget that continues to prioritize safety for all users over the speed of one. I was also surprised to see a new budget line for multimodal trails and side paths to help maintain trails throughout the city in fiscal year 2027. However, it currently doesn't include funding for this coming fiscal year. I request the budget line include $500,000. Having this money could provide funds to help with any additional costs for state or federally funded trail projects, safeguarding against potential delays caused by unexpected costs. This is especially important during the time of federal uncertainty. Thank you so much and for your consideration.
Good afternoon, council members and neighbors. My name is Paul Hanix. I'm a human rights lawyer. I'm a proponent of transparency and accountability. My comments involve the Philadelphia Police Department's budget and also Vision Zero. The other day I called my police district to bring attention to multiple observations in my neighborhood of motorists personal and commercial, unlawfully covering the registration plates and rendering them unreadable. Amber alerts, stolen vehicles, valid insurance, arrest warrants, all checked based on reading license plates. I mentioned that after I took a photo in a public place of an illegally parked vehicle in the bicycle lane, pretty typical, I was chased, physically stopped and accosted in the middle of the intersection of Pine and 17th. And Philadelphia Police's response was, "We know you're upset about people parking in the bicycle lane. Next time, don't engage." Why not, "Thanks for bringing attention to this unlawful behavior of obscuring plates. We'll ensure our officers patrolling those areas keep an eye out." On any given day, I observe 7 to 8 police officers on bicycles in a gaggle near the south side of City Hall. They can't spare 1 or 2 to ride along the unprotected, unenforced, high-injury network streets to provide presence and enforcement in those areas. It probably has nothing to do with me publicly expressing to municipal leaders of their duty to ensure the safety of all its residents and alleging the unreasonable delays in implementing valid safety laws breach that duty, and that city, were it to implement and enforce, would have clearly prevented unnecessary preventable traffic deaths. I'm certain that my reports to the District Attorney's Office and the Inspector General have nothing to do with the disrespect I experienced. And by not enforcing public safety and traffic laws, officers often violate the laws themselves, the PPD not allowing hostility to grow between vexed neighbors that underlies the very violence your department struggles to subdue. Stop over-policing Black, Indigenous, people of color communities, and start fighting rampant corruption. Free Palestine, I yield.
Next, we have Jenny Zang, Deon Washington, Jordan Brittingham, Thomas Kowalczyk, and Jules Rogers.
My name is Jenny Zang. I'm with the Alliance for a Just Philadelphia, APIPA, and I live in Chinatown. We're seeing every day at the federal level cuts to life-saving programs and essential services, and these affect every Philadelphian, especially our most vulnerable and marginalized, and that is why it is crucial our city not accept this budget at face value. We need more. Our libraries, parks, transit, housing, other services are already at risk. This budget puts them at further risk due to the tax cuts to big business. We need council to pass the wealth tax so that ultra-wealthy Philadelphians pay their fair share. Why are we codifying 13 years of tax cuts? They're already getting tax cuts at the federal and state levels. If we want a budget that protects and supports Philadelphia for the people long term, we need to fund it. In order for a budget to function properly, it needs funding. Billionaires need to pay up. And one of the things we really need to fund in this city are mobile mental health crisis units. I'm speaking today in support of $20 million of funding for mobile crisis units in Philadelphia. We need care, not more policing. And I'm also here today because of Christian Hall. Many of you already know his story, but Christian was experiencing a mental health crisis in Monroe County. When police arrived, they shot and killed him. Access to mobile crisis unit could have saved his life, and it could have saved many people. These units could have saved many people's lives. When these units are fully funded, they can save even more lives. May is Mental Health Awareness Month, and we need to take mental health seriously in this city. As council considers the budget and as we face potential federal cuts, we cannot afford to skimp on life-saving resources in favor of over-policing. It is now more important than ever that we fully fund culturally competent and linguistically accessible mental health services that protect the health and safety of Philadelphians. We need and deserve compassionate, professional mental health response to mental health crisis. Thank you.
Good afternoon. My name is Deon Washington. I'm the organizing director at People's Tech Project and co-convener of the Philly Tech Justice Collective. We are also members of the Alliance. And we work we fight for community control over the technology that shapes our lives, especially when used by the government and corporations. Right now, the mayor's budget earmarks tens of millions of dollars for tech projects that include police surveillance. At their hearing, the police admitted that the surveillance data that is captured is shared at times with the federal government. This is the same government that is conducting mass deportations to El Salvador and targeting citizens for exercising their First Amendment rights. This is also the same government that just opened a detention center next to the Newark Airport in New Jersey and arrested the mayor. And so this isn't hypothetical, right? ICE and other law enforcement agencies, federal law enforcement agencies, use local data to persecute immigrants, Black and brown communities. And by funding surveillance, you're bankrolling the tools they need to violate our rights. We also want a safe and thriving Philly too. A clean, green, safe Philadelphia with economic opportunities for all, like the mayor says. But we think that we demand that you all divest from surveillance and invest in what actually works, which is a fully funded people's budget. Organizations like YEA estimate that the city could be spending around $30,000 per youth to almost eradicate youth-involved violence by focusing on the youth that are most at risk instead of the $220,000 that they are spending to maintain the Juvenile Justice Center. So just to wrap it up, because I know my time is just about over, we want to move away from policing. We want to make sure we're continuing to fund things like the PHL Connect Ed program. And we also need for City Council to start holding hearings on how the city is using technology, especially with the police department, because we understand that there's a lack of transparency in how it's used. Thank you.
Hello, good afternoon. My name is Jordan Bingham, and I'm an organizer at People's Tech Project. For the last 2 years, we at People's Tech have been talking with community members, leaders, and organizers to build our understanding of technology's impact on our communities. Through those conversations, we can see how tech is changing our society right before our eyes, and not always in the best way. Particularly in this proposed budget, we can see how tech is going to be an integral part of the city's plan to exercise services in running city programs. We see a lot of money being spent on drones and other technologies. However, we do not see much oversight around these technologies. We are calling City Council to ask more questions about tech purchasing and its efficacy, as well as challenge this administration on full public transparency of the acquisition, implementation, of tech. Mass deportation is happening. Most of these technologies and data sharing practices are assisting the federal law enforcement with these deportations, tearing families apart. We need to protect every member of our community and not allow for this type of application of tech and data. Tech should be used to improve the lives of our community members and not used as a way to surveil and incarcerate them. As members of A4JP, we are supporting a real people's budget, and thank you for your time.
Good afternoon, council members. My name is Jules Rogers, and I live in West Philadelphia. I work at Amistad Law Project, and I am here with the Alliance for a Just Philadelphia, asking you all to pass a people's budget. We know that you do what you do because you care about the people, so please hear us out. I'm here specifically today to say that I am completely dismayed that less than 2 months ago, on March 20th, Philadelphia police shot and killed Aaron Rainey while he was suffering from a mental health crisis. Aaron Rainey was a Black father, he was unarmed, and he was voluntarily seeking treatment at the age of 36 years old. If mobile crisis teams had been dispatched, Aaron Rainey would still be alive. A social worker, a peer support specialist, an EMT would have approached him with care in a calm manner. They would have had no guns, so there would have been no guns at the site for him to be shot with. Instead, Philadelphia police responded. They threw him in the back of a van, and when they got to the hospital, he was confused. There was a struggle. He didn't understand what was going on. A scuffle broke out, and a police officer shot his partner by accident, and then shot and killed Aaron Rainey. Aaron Rainey should still be here. I'm also dismayed that this has gotten very little attention in the city, that the family hasn't heard from the mayor, from the police chief. I think this is really outrageous. At any point in Philadelphia, there are 21% of Philadelphians have a serious mental health diagnosis. And that means that at any point, 1 in 5 Philadelphians, that's 357,000 people are at risk of a serious mental health crisis. We shouldn't be at risk of the police killing us when this happens. That is a cousin, this is a daughter, this is a mother, a father. And speaking as somebody who grew up with a mentally ill mom, I had to watch her be forcibly removed from our home against her will multiple times. It was traumatic. It's traumatic to see that happen to a mother, a child, a family member. So what we're asking for, to make sure that mobile crisis teams can be fully staffed, operating 24/7 citywide, we need $20 million in the budget to go to them. This is a very reasonable ask. Mayor Parker has set aside $872 million to go to the police department. It is very fair and reasonable to ask that $20 million go to Philadelphians suffering from a mental health crisis. Thank you for your time.
Thomas Kowalczyk, Diamond Whipper, Angela Woods, Tyrese Rogers, Charles Haynes, Gail Banks, Alan Drew,
Good morning. My name is Reverend Alan Drew. I'm a resident of the 5th District. I'm a pastor in the Christian Reformed Church, and I direct the Hunting Park Community Solar Initiative, or HPCSI, which is working to help the community of Hunting Park gain access to affordable solar and is currently running its 7th solar installer job training course for low-income Philadelphians. I'm here today on behalf of myself and HPCSI because we have seen firsthand the incredible benefits of the Philadelphia Energy Authority's Built to Last program on people's lives. In 2023, HPCSI and HPNAC worked together to bring the BTL program to a number of low-income homes in Hunting Park. A documentary was made that followed 6 of them, What Needs to Be Done, 6 Stories of Built to Last. You can find it on YouTube. One of HPCSI's board members was a beneficiary. She's a rock star in the neighborhood, running her own community organization, helping out with other orgs, and providing steady leadership on her block. BTL helped repair and improve some serious issues in her home and had installed solar panels and heat pumps for her. She and the other beneficiaries in the documentary were all deeply positively impacted by this program. It stabilized their homes in the face of aggressive gentrification, helping them preserve generational wealth. It made their homes healthier places to live in, and the weatherization, heat pumps, and solar power are now saving them significantly on their utilities. And they represent just 6 families. 214 other families have been impacted by this program. 400 others are in the pipeline, and 2,600 are on a growing wait list for this program. As if this weren't enough, BTL clean energy projects mean more work opportunities for the graduates of HPCSI's solar installer training program. Built to Last has proven itself to be an extremely valuable program, and there's a huge demand for more of it. And so I respectfully ask that you allocate a full $10 million at minimum to the Philadelphia Energy Authority this fiscal year so that BTL is given the support it needs to expand its incredible work for all the families that are begging for it. I believe both City Council and the Mayor care a lot about housing, and BTL is a powerful tool in your toolbox. I hope you will use it. Thank you for the opportunity to speak and for your consideration.
Good morning, good afternoon all. My name is Jules Rogers. I live in District 9 of Philadelphia, and I'm a proud member of 1PA Renters United and a lifelong Philadelphian. I was born in West Philadelphia, lived in Southwest, Germantown, Logan, North Philly, Somerton, and now Frankfurt. My family has dealt with evictions, and as a member of 1PA, I am very concerned about housing justice in the city. It is not fine for some of our landowners, corporations to neglect tenants' complaints or retaliate against them for doing so, or consistently raising rents on these establishments that probably should be condemned. I am here to speak up for an increase to the budget that's for L&I. That's $10 million for proactive inspections. And what is that? Hold up just a moment. And what? Going to L&I, somebody, oh, that's right, I'm sorry. Okay, that's $10 million going to them, and somebody in here can get them on board with what they need to do. I was here a couple of weeks ago, so I heard it. And $10 million for Built to Last program for continuing to do their good work. I've heard about them too. It's disgusting that some landlords keep getting away with not making repairs and then they retaliate against people that complain. Right now, our Department of L&I is not funded well enough to be effective. There are only about 20 inspectors for rental units for the entire city, and the department needs a significant increase in staff to actually conduct proactive inspections. We are the only major city in America that doesn't fund proactive inspections or rental units. And this being the city where the oldest housing stock in America, it is sorely needed. I want to implore City Council to increase the budget for Built to Last by $10 million. It's already a great process. It gives people a chance to stay in their homes and build community. It builds generational wealth, which is critical for Philadelphia as we are, once again, the nation's largest poor city. Thank you for your time.
Thank you.
Hello, my name is Diamond Whipper Young. I am an artist, and I know we talked about a lot of numbers, but I just want to share my testimony. I came to Philadelphia as a Temple student. I am an artist and an educator, and the first thing I noticed is I was a part of the gentrification happening in North Philadelphia, being a Temple student. So my first goal was to look, how could I use my tools and my gifts to help this community? And the best program I could have ever been introduced to was the Mural Arts program. I was introduced to them through the Guild program, which, if anyone knows, is they were help returning citizens, and unfortunately, my family is affected by that to this day. I thought it was so important how they gave jobs, so I wanted to learn more. And through my years, I've interned with them. I've acted as an artist assistant and now a lead artist with multiple murals around the city. Since working with Mural Arts, I have won a Guinness World Record with Franklin and Crayola, but because of Mural Arts, I then brought my students into the museum and taught them about careers in arts. Since Mural Arts, I have won a $150,000 grant for the Percent for Art to make a bronze in South Philadelphia, and because of Mural Arts, I learned how to incorporate the community and incorporate community healing. Mural Arts has been so important to my career and my purpose as an artist. I have traveled all over the world, from Brazil, doing murals in Brazil, traveled to Colombia. I just worked with an artist in Cincinnati. And the amazing thing is the world looks at mural art as a blueprint. And I just think that is so important to combat crime, to violence, and to give artists jobs. And I just want Philadelphia to realize what they have in mural arts and increase that $1.5 million in the budget, Mirror Hearts has the structure to fund artists and to fund our livelihood. Philadelphia, we are the city of brotherly love, sisterly love, arts and culture. We cannot forget arts and culture is the backbone of Philadelphia. So thank you so much. Shout out to my artists. Shout out to the budget for all the people. Philadelphia to the people. Artists are everything that makes Philadelphia go round. So thank you.
Angela Woods, Charles Haynes, Gail Banks, Joshua Reeves, Munira Edens, Craig Borarak, Brad Forbes, Margaret Guerrera, Sterling Scott. We got a few more. Martin Lewis, Alejandro Castellano, Emily Davis, and Alexia Clark.
Please proceed.
Good afternoon, City Council. Thank you for the opportunity to speak. My name is Craig Borowiak. I'm a professor of political science at Haverford College. I'm here to testify in support of the Philadelphia Area Cooperative Alliance's request for a $1.3 million grant and pro bono technical assistance fund for Philadelphia cooperatives. For over 15 years, I have been researching cooperatives in Philadelphia. This research has culminated this past year with the publication of a book entitled Solidarity Cities, in which my co-authors and I analyzed cooperatives and other solidarity economy initiatives in Philadelphia, Worcester, Massachusetts, and New York City. I want to briefly share a few of our findings. First, as you know, Philadelphia is a divided city characterized by both deep poverty and sharp lines of racial, ethnic, and poverty segregation. We find that cooperatives have particular salience in precisely such contexts. This is because they operate differently than conventional investor-owned firms. They are animated by different values, the cooperative principles, which prioritize cooperation, community building, and democratic governance above competition. This is really important in communities that are underserved by the conventional capitalist economy. When we map cooperatives in Philadelphia, we find that they cluster in what we call edge zones. These are urban spaces characterized by extensive racial and economic mixing of populations. This is in large part because cooperatives, animated by those cooperative principles, do the edge work of building bridges, fostering community learning, and working through cultural differences with intention. A second major finding that we have is that cooperatives serve as defensive bulwarks for disadvantaged communities facing adverse economic forces. For example, we find that dollar for dollar, cooperatives generate more work, more jobs than conventional firms do based upon dollar for dollar investment. We show how faith-based credit unions, which are predominantly located in poor communities of color, provide fair access to finance, and we show how housing cooperatives help people stay in their homes in the face of gentrification. And finally, I want to observe that cooperatives achieve scale differently than investor-owned firms do, and this is important. They build scale through cooperation. They build scale by developing a cooperative ecosystem, and this is why PACA is so important. It provides the networking, the communication, and the technical skills so cooperatives can build that kind of cooperative ecosystem. So thank you for your time.
Thank you.
My name is Brad Forbes. I am the current president of PACA. I am also the treasurer of a cooperative land trust in Southwest Philadelphia called the Life Center Association. There's a lot I can say to echo what the good professor just said about the utility and the real answer that is embodied in the cooperative economic model. My co-op personally is bridging the gap in a lot of the issues that we have heard about today. We are in housing, we have co-ops in food, we have co-ops building knowledge bases for skills in construction, in farming, in food production, food preparation, housekeeping, childcare, education. We're building initiatives around knowledge-based building so that folks can walk into a space with no skills and gain those skills, and then pipeline those skills into operating businesses that they own. Imagine a housing co-op like my own, which is not just a housing co-op, it is a land trust. But we do a whole lot of housing. And one of the things that one of our main initiatives right now is a space on Baltimore Avenue, the West Philly Cultural Center. Thank you, Councilmember Gautier, for your support. And I've had the pleasure of discussing with Councilmember Gautier's office the ways in which the cooperative economy is really the one truly concrete answer to a lot of these issues and economic issues. We're talking about the people of Philadelphia taking self-determination. We're talking about all of these things that we're coming to the trough here and saying we need money for this, we need money for that. Right now, we're building initiatives, particularly in our Baltimore Avenue model right now, where we can actually begin to address some of these issues, and we can ask you to invest in the Philadelphian people directly into sustainable models so that we actually don't have to come back here and keep asking, because we're building it from the ground up. So I'm asking for $1.3 million of investment, which is a pitiful investment, into something that will return massively in the ability for Philadelphia to once again be a leader in really a revolution for independence and economic independence of our people. So please invest in the people of Philadelphia, invest in the care for technical assistance for these businesses to really get off the ground and to really be the concrete answer that so many people are looking for. Thank you.
My name is Emily Davis, and I'm a resident of Philadelphia and a climate voter. I ask you to fully fund Philadelphia Energy Authority. In fact, I think it would be great if you could give them even more than the $10 million that they're asking for. Given that PEA has a record of creating $75 of investment for every $1 that the city provides in funding, it seems logical not to give them more. Who wouldn't want that kind of investment? The Built to Last program, in particular, is a bright star for our city. PEA's ability to coordinate the work of 12 different agencies has probably saved badly deteriorating homes from abandonment or owners from homelessness. PEA is part of fulfilling the mayor's goal of making Philadelphia the safest, cleanest, and greenest city in the nation. Given that about 75% of the carbon footprint comes from homes, we need this program to make our homes more efficient. Homes in the program become energy efficient. Some even get solar panels and at times add energy to the grid. Their workforce development program provides training and experience and a path to employment for city youths and leads them to a brighter future. The city has a great need for affordable housing. One part of being affordable is being able to afford your utility bills. Low-income houses, on average, have a 10% of their income on utilities, spend 10% of their income on utilities. So having an energy-efficient home provides greater economic stability to the household. Mixed income housing bill requires developers in the city to provide funding payments in lieu of affordable housing if they don't wish to include affordable units in their project. To date, only about 1.5% of these funds have gone to affordable housing. Until the Housing Trust Fund is fully funded, perhaps some of this could be used for PEA. Again, I ask you to fully fund PEA. Thank you.
Good afternoon. My name is Alexia Clark. I am the CEO at Covenant House, Pennsylvania, and I want to thank you for the opportunity to speak to you today. We're the largest provider of shelter, housing, and support for young people experiencing homelessness and survivors of human trafficking in Philadelphia and York. Each year, we serve over 2,000 young people aged 18 to 24, primarily Black or African American, 70%. 23% are LGBTQIA+, 40% have foster care histories, and many are survivors of violence and trafficking. They are among Philadelphia's most vulnerable, and yet, with the right supports, they thrive. 85% of our youth in transitional housing transition to stable housing and employment. But right now, we're turning youth away. We turned away 121 young people last year, and this year so far, we've turned away 59. And that's not because we lack space, but because we lack the resources to fund all the beds that we have. That's an avoidable crisis. And so I'm asking the city to fully fund existing beds and existing units that exist in the city. I'd like the city council to invest in the full continuum of care from shelter, transitional housing, workforce, and behavioral health, so young people don't just survive, they stabilize and they thrive. 57% of our young people experience a mental health disorder. And we ask the city to commit to housing policies that create true affordability for youth. Our youth earn $13.83 per hour, and so we need affordable housing that is for the lowest income earners. Dedicate at least 10% of home initiative or other city housing investments specifically to youth-focused housing, and advance overlay and zoning incentives that make room for youth-serving organizations like ours to build and operate housing in every neighborhood. And finally, support small project financing and CDBG set-asides that make it possible for youth-focused organizations to compete to create affordable housing. It's a solvable problem, and I hope that we can work together to actually ensure our youth are housed and doing well. Thank you.
Hi, my name is Regina Brown. I am a mother of 14 children. I currently live in West Philadelphia. I'm testifying in City Council today for two things. One thing, I want City Council to increase funding for diversion programs that keep kids out of prison. Two, I want City Council to work with Mayor Parker's administration to improve partnerships with Philly-based service providers. I want council members to consider these things because the juvenile justice system has wreaked irreparable harm on my family. I have a son who is 17 years old. He got in trouble last May. He got picked up by police. He was charged. This put us in contact with the court system. It was a system that gave him and me confusing information and few clear answers. We had little stability, we had little support. Eventually, he was sent to placement earlier this year. The problem was that he was sent to a Braxis Youth Detention Center because there were no services available in Philly. For those who don't know, Braxis is in South Mountain, PA. South Mountain, PA is 150 miles away. It's a three-hour drive to and from. My son was in South Mountain for nearly 3 months. During this time, I only had virtual visits, at times that were not convenient for me. The staff at Braxis told my son that he had to make amends with us. This is true, but how could he do this when we were never able to see him in person? How can we do this if he is 150 miles away from home? He was given an impossible task. City Council, I know kids make mistakes and they need to learn. I also know from experience that kids don't do this if you put them away in a new environment and expect them to be perfect. Please do what you can so that what happened to my son and me does not happen to other families. Fund diversion programs, make sure that the service providers are working closely with the juvenile justice system here so that families are not separated when they are struggling. Thank you.
Thank you. Is there anyone else here for public comment that would like to speak? Okay, hearing none, the chair recognizes Councilmember Majority Leader Gilmore Richardson for a motion that the public hearing and meeting on the bills and resolution before the committee today stand in recess until Wednesday, May the 14th, 2025 at 10 a.m. in City Hall, room 400.
So moved, Mr. Chairman.
It has been moving property seconded. Jim Hardy having a bad influence on you, but remember Gaultier. It has been moved and properly seconded that the public hearing and meeting on the bills and resolutions before the committee today stand in recess until Wednesday, May the 14th, 2025 at 10 a.m. in room 400 City Hall. All those in favor will signify by saying aye. Those opposed, the ayes have it, and the motion carries. This committee will stand in recess until Wednesday, May the 14th at 10 a.m. And thank you everyone for taking time out of your schedule and being here today to speak on the FY26 proposed budget.